Hello YouTube, Adrian Hunter here from PipeDreamHookah, and today I have the second video in the Fakher series where I'm just going to do like every Fakher flavor ever. It's going to take me 4 years and you're all going to lose interest in about 2 months, but I'm going to do it anyway. Today's flavor that we're going to be going over is the legendary Fakher Double Apple, or Fakher 2 Apples, depending on who you ask. I believe this is officially called 2 apples, but everyone calls it double apple. So what we're gonna have here is a kilo. And the reason for that is because this is probably one of my favorite flavors and I never want to not have it on hand. So spoiler alert, I like the stuff. But to stay true to the format of these quick Fakher reviews that I've told you guys I'm gonna be doing, we're just gonna be quickly going over the scent, the clouds, and the flavor of the tobacco, as well as a few other small facts. And just to give you an idea of what I'll be using today, I'm using my favorite double apple setup. It's going to be my KM, I believe this is the Ferroni or the Pharaoh's Oxide, I'm not sure which. I've got this really nice wooden hose that I picked up here in Dearborn, Michigan. One of the perks of living over here in Dearborn. Wind cover on right now because I just put 2 of the Golden Desert Charcoal flats on top. It's going to heat the bowl really well. And as I'm sure you guys just saw at the beginning, I'm using an unglazed Egyptian style bowl. Now if you're interested in how I pack this bowl, I'm going to leave a link down in the description. It'll take you right over to how I pack this particular kind of bowl. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the scent on the Fakher 2 apples. Strong anise, strong black licorice scent is the first thing that hits you in the nose. Not really a lot going on as far as like an apple scent, and for people who are familiar with the double apple flavor as a genre of hookah tobacco, I'm sure you're aware that typically if there's any apple in the mix at all, it's going to be way at the background of the mix. And judging by the scent of this tobacco, it's not going to be any different with Fakher's double apple or 2 apples. What you're going to get is a really strong, bold, black licorice, kind of an anise scent, and that's all you're really going to get. You are going to get a few miscellaneous spices in the background, and if you sit there and smell it for long enough, you can probably trick yourself into smelling some apples. But that is what we get for the scent on the tobacco. Now, provided this thing is heated up, let's go ahead and show you some of the clouds that this stuff can produce. As you guys can see, these clouds are going to be nothing to turn your nose up at. Now I will say that the clouds are a little bit bigger than they'll normally be because I am utilizing a wind cover and I like to smoke a little bit hotter than most people. I really do like it hot. So because of that, I'm actually pulling out clouds that are going to be just a little bit bigger than what you would normally expect from Fakher. But you're going to get something really similar to this if you decide to just go ahead and go no wind cover, especially if you're using a slightly bigger Egyptian bowl. You can get away with 3 cubes as opposed to 2. So that's what you're going to get in terms of clouds. But let's move on to the most important thing when we're critically analyzing any shisha tobacco, and that is going to be the flavor on the tobacco. So let's get into that using the inhale and the exhale as reference. I find that the flavor profiles on both the inhale and exhale differ just a little bit, and this is going to be no exception. So let's take a look at the inhale. The inhale is going to be extremely bold. You're going to get that really heavy black licorice anise flavor right at the forefront as soon as you take that first rip, and it's going to coat your mouth with this really nice, oily, I'm not really sure how to explain it, probably just like an oily anise flavoring all over the inside of your mouth that's actually going to stay there even after you've exhaled it, which I'll get into in just a moment. You are going to get some kind of earthy, spicy tones in the background. It's pretty generic. It's really hard to pinpoint what these spices are, but they're kind of added in for extra flavor. I'm not exactly sure what they use. And as far as an apple flavor, I don't really get any type of an apple. If they do utilize some type of an apple flavoring in here, it's overshadowed by a long shot by all of that really rich black licorice flavored anise that they use in the tobacco. Now moving right along to the exhale. What was that? That was a little bit of apple. When you exhale the tobacco, you're going to get a kind of a dip down in that really strong anise and spice flavor, and the overall flavor profile is going to get a little bit weaker. And I think that that might be the reason that some of this apple flavor is going to come through. And it's not going to be like a true apple flavor, it's going to be like a almost an apple juice flavor. It's very much in the background, and I had to smoke it a lot before I started to pick up on it. And I had to smoke a lot of different double apples from a lot of different brands before I could kind of pinpoint what that flavoring is. But you do get just a touch of apple on the exhale. All right, you guys, so taking into account the flavor, the scent, and the cloud output on this tobacco, I'm gonna go ahead and rate it on a 10 scale for you guys. And I'm going to have to give this a solid high rating of 9 out of 10. Why the hell am I giving this a 9 out of 10? Well, again, a lot of this is subjective. And if you aren't a fan of black licorice, you can go ahead and drop this down to a 0 out of 10 because that is the primary flavor you're going to be getting. But me, I'm a big fan of black licorice, I'm a big fan of that anise flavoring, and I'm a really big fan of a good, rich session that kind of coats the inside of your mouth. And Fakher's 2 apples brings all of that to the table. So for me, this has to be a solid, like I said, 9 out of 10. Okay, you guys, so that just about wraps it up. We just got through the second episode of the Fakher series. Thank you guys so much for watching. And hey, if you have any questions, comments, or criticisms, drop them down in the comments box below, whether they're positive or negative. I'm always happy to interact with you guys, see what you guys are up to, just generally talk to you guys, whatever. It's all good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. And as always, happy smoking.